Hello, my massage and manual therapy colleagues. It is Mike. I just had a lovely day in practice, and two of my patients today were coming in to work on issues relating to a prior surgery that they had had. If you're like me, the world of post-surgical massage and manual therapy has really been an on-the-job learning in the last 15 years of my practice. And the reason is simple. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of people who have had some kind of surgical procedure in their past and are in some stage of recovering from it. This affects, or it should affect, my treatment choices, the questions I'm asking, and the communications that I attempt with my patient, with other providers, etc. So instead of trying to learn everything in this domain, the key question for you and for me is, are we equipped to do a safe, effective, and meaningful treatment on someone who is recovering from a surgery, either soon afterwards or sometime later, but still affected? For me, the answer is often, not quite. I still have stuff to learn. And if you're like me, I invite you to join me for a virtual class. But for the time being, let's get some basic facts down. Surgery is common and varied in the US. About 100 years ago, the technologies of anesthesia and asepsis came together to make surgical procedures much safer, much higher duration, more complex, and this has saved countless human lives. It has also created a lot of complexity for us in treatment. Just to give you some numbers for how commonly this shows up. For Americans getting an appendix removed, there are about 300,000 appendectomies per year in the US. There are about 500,000 gallbladder removal surgeries in the US per year. There are about 250,000 ovarian cyst removals per year. There are about 500,000 spinal surgeries per year, and cancer, which has about 1.8 million cases new per year, often has surgical procedures associated with it. So this will show up, it does show up, and it should cause us to think about our treatment approaches in relation to the post-surgical healing. So suppose this is true, and it will be true for you. What should we be focusing our care on? Let's lower the camera. Da-da-da. Ba-ba-ba. And let's imagine a surgery that has created an incision in the lower abdominal wall. So let's imagine this is kind of a deli slice through the fourth lumbar vertebra or somewhere in there. So you've got an intervertebral disc. This is posterior, this is anterior, and you've got paraspinal muscles in back. You've got QL and kidney capsule and large intestine and small intestine. You've got these fascial layers nested around the outside, creating a kind of pressurized fluid space, and you've got nerves emanating out from the intervertebral foramina and innervating the different compartments here, posteriorly, anteriorly, including the subcutaneous layer. A surgery is a controlled trauma that is given the best chance of healing well. It is not uncommon for an area post-surgery to have an inflammatory healing process where there's extra gunk left over, there's sliding dysfunction, there is adhesion, etc. Is that a problem? Maybe not. But sometimes we know that there are limitations in the post-surgical healing process which may be amenable to our careful and knowledgeable care. So for me, my treatment goals as a body worker should be, first and foremost, safety. Am I modulating my choices based on the timeline, based on the integrity of the tissues, based on the nervous system responses of the person in my care? I'm very interested in the health of nerves post-surgery. Has a nerve been cut in a surgical procedure? Is a nerve entrapped at all in the post-surgical scar? Is there dysregulation in the autonomic nerves in a given area post-surgery? These are things that may be amenable to manual therapeutic intervention. One of my key goals should be pain reduction. Can I reduce the amount of pain that someone is in, either in the moment and hopefully over some period of time? One of the key things that becomes possible when there's less pain is there's a better capacity for movement. People have better range of motion, better endurance when they move, and that is something that might be facilitated by skilled massage and manual therapy. If that's true, then other surgical outcomes, other healing outcomes are facilitated. So one of our goals should be getting someone able to move safely post-surgery. Obviously, we would do this in tight communication with allied providers. And then let's not forget the fact that a surgery often involves a sense of disconnection, of discontinuity, of mild disassociation with the body by the mind. Someone often feels somewhat divorced from their physical form, somewhat spaced out post-surgery, somewhat in conflict with this mutinous machine that they formerly felt so fused with. And if you can help a person come into a loving and functional relation with their body again, you have given them a profound gift, even if you have mobilized no layers, even if you have affected no tissue physiology. If you have someone who is in a better relationship to their physical form after seeing you, that is a major positive outcome from manual therapy. So these and other subjects, including strategies for these particular domains of surgery, will be the subject of our class, which you're welcome to join. But in the meantime, don't be afraid to just keep learning with each person that comes in your care, because surgery will keep evolving, and so should we in the care of our post-surgical patients. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.